Okay, yes, I finally watched the John Wick movies. The reason I haven't watched them until now is I really thought they were just kind of generic action movies, you know? Like, oh, Keanu Reeves is a hitman, how special can it be? But I heard such great things about this one, I was like, alright, I should probably watch them. So, quick reviews. The first one is honestly my least favorite. I might get some flack for this, but I found it to be kind of generic. It was overhyped for me at that point, I think. I would honestly give it my discount rating. The second one, though, I thought the second one was awesome because it decided to commit. It was like, you know what? We are a James Bond movie. And I loved it for that. I would give it my best rating. The third one, Parabellum, it kept that momentum going. Had a great villain, that woman that went around who I just called the bitch. Not as good as Chapter 2, but still pretty damn enjoyable. I would have said go see it while it's in theaters. And now we have hit Chapter 4. Let's talk about it. John Wick, Chapter 4. So yes, this is the fourth John Wick movie. It's the longest one in the series so far. I do like how the movies have gotten sequentially longer. The first one was 1:40. The second one was about 2 hours. Chapter 3 is about 2:10. This one is 2 hours and 50 minutes just about. Yeah, it's a long one. But then again, so is No Time to Die. And it was pretty good. So in John Wick Chapter 4, we are going after the High Table, which is, pretty much the big council that runs the whole business that John Wick involves himself with. The ones in charge, they want John Wick dead. They've wanted him dead for the past couple movies, because he broke the rules at the end of Chapter 2. Leading the charge this time around, we got Bill Skarsgård as the Marquis de Gramont. And so here we go with John Wick Chapter 4. Now, this is the part where I apologize for not having seen and reviewed the John Wick movies leading up to this as they came out. Look, live and learn, alright? That's gonna be haunting me for the rest of my life because this series, yeah, it is pretty fucking sweet! And this fourth chapter is no exception. This movie is pretty fucking awesome. Now let's talk about Keanu Reeves, because let's just all be honest with ourselves and admit it, Keanu Reeves is not a good actor, but we all know this. I'm pretty sure even he knows this. These John Wick movies, they really kind of play up the cheesy nature of Keanu Reeves' acting. I mean, the way he delivers his lines, the dialogue, the words themselves. Yeah, he'll say stuff like,
I'm going to need a gun.
Every time he opened his mouth, I just laughed out loud in this movie. Because all the other actors, they're actually good actors, and they act circles around Keanu Reeves. It's just funny to watch. That being said, when John Wick throws down, it's damn entertaining. That's why we go to see these movies. I'm just saying in terms of acting ability, we know that he's not the best. I mean, you know that, right, John?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. Introduced in this movie is Kane, played by Donnie Yen. He's a pretty prominent character in this one. And yes, his character is a blind badass, just like in Rogue One. And if you don't know me by now, I always love the blind badass archetype character. I mean, let's list them. Matt Murdock, Toph Beifong, Kanan Jarrus, and now two characters that have been played by Donnie Yen. There is one scene, though, where they're playing cards and Donnie Yen actually knows what cards he has. I was like, wait, what? Other than that, though, he is a complete badass. Ian McShane is, of course, back as Winston. And as always, he has some of the best lines in the movie, some of the best interactions with John Wick, and also with Bill Skarsgård, who is also great in this movie. I mean, who do we cast to play a creepy-ass villain? How about Pennywise? Yeah, that makes sense. I don't think he's the best villain of the series. That'll either go to Chapter 1 or Chapter 3. But he does do a really good job at setting the stakes. I mean, he's not a bad villain by any means. He makes a really good adversary for John Wick. He does a good job. Shamir Anderson's character, which is really kind of funny, because this is a Keanu Reeves movie and we have ourselves a Mr. Anderson. But this guy who simply calls himself Nobody, he's the one with the dog because, of course, it's a John Wick movie, we gotta have a dog. Which does make me wonder, John Wick's dog that he's had for the past few movies is largely absent in this one, and I just don't know why. But Nobody here, he's awesome too. I love the relationship he has with his dog. That's like, it's great. Hey, I'm a dog owner myself. It's easy to relate to. But Lawrence Fishburne, man, he's been my favorite character in this entire series because he is so funny. His lines are like the best. Like when he showed up for the first time in Chapter 2, I was like, oh, okay, so this guy's gonna steal the entire movie. That's what he's gonna do.
Somebody please get this man a gun.
I'm sure he had no idea he was even being filmed throughout this entire series. I love his character, and I love him as that character. And once again, he chews scenery in this movie as well. Alright, now that I've finished prattling on about the characters, let's talk about the action scenes, which we already know are gonna be badass. I'm not gonna tell you anything you don't already know here. The action in this movie just doesn't stop. This is where I was like, oh, okay, I should have watched these movies when they came out because this action is really cool. Cause yeah, at first, when I was first watching these movies, I was like, okay, it's just a guy with a gun. What's so special about it? We've seen that in a million movies before. Dude, whoever choreographs these movies, I hope they are bathing in gold because they deserve it.
Amen.
The choreography in the action fight scenes in all these movies, that is why you go to see them. Cause when people fight in these movies, it is the most entertaining shit ever. Whether it be with swords, or with pistols, or a chase scene on motorcycles, or cars, or trucks. I mean, not just, like, oh, headshot, it's like a damn video game, which is awesome. Like, as I was watching the movies leading up to this, I was like, this would be a really fun video game to play. But I mean, in Chapter 2, he's using pencils to kill guys. That was awesome. In the third one, Halle Berry's dogs got in on the fight. That was awesome. In this one, oh my god, dude. I'm not gonna spoil what specifically happens because you gotta go see it. But we got some action scenes. I mean, just watching Keanu Reeves throw down with a guy. I mean, waves of guys are coming after him. It's like, oh, okay, this action scene's done. Damn. Oh, it's not done? No, here come more guys. Ah, shit, you guys are gonna get beaten. It's not over yet. Sweet, it's still going. And word of advice, when you do go to see this movie, see it with the best sound system possible. Cause when I saw this last night, I saw it in IMAX and the bass was jacked the fuck up. When someone gets hit, the bass, it felt like I was seeing the movie in D-Box. I wasn't, but the seats were certainly vibrating. It was badass. There are several action scenes in this movie that are the big highlights, but then there are parts where the action got kind of funny. Again, I'm not gonna spoil it, but it involves tumbling down steps. I was laughing out loud. I'll just leave it at that. Now, this movie being 2 hours and about 50 minutes, does it feel a bit long-winded at times? Yes, but rarely. There were a couple of points where I was like, okay, you didn't have to drag that scene out as long as you did. Like, there's a point where Ian McShane is just walking, and he's walking, and this goes on for like 15 seconds. I was like, you could have shaved that down. Nothing else is happening. It's pretty much completely silent. I get that it was trying to build up the tension or whatever, but still, I was like, the tension's already plenty built up. I'm just saying. Having Ian McShane just walking in silence for about 15 seconds just kind of made me laugh. Seriously, when it was done, I was like, Ian McShane, ladies and gentlemen, that was funny. My point is, the long nature of this movie's length, it is justified for sure. Believe me. Also, and I shouldn't have to say this, but just in case you don't know much about the John Wick movies, the only semi-realistic one is the first one. After that, they get ridiculous. Like James Bond or Mission Impossible. You know, those super fun action movie series that are really famous because people love them? Yeah, John Wick is up there with them. Especially in terms of ridiculousness. I mean, so many times throughout this entire series, John Wick should have died because he was getting shot up or falling off buildings. I mean, at a point in this movie, he jumps out a window a few stories up. He falls way down into this alley. He hits a bar. He hits a car. I'm like, he's dead. He's Hamburger. I don't care what kind of Kevlar suit you're wearing. Nope, he just gets right up and he's like, all right, walk it off. The movie knows it's absurd for sure. It plays that up to its strength. It's a lot of fun. These movies are all about the fun, which is the #1 reason I like to watch movies in the first place, to have fun. These John Wick movies, they know what they are, they know you want to have fun, and John Wick Chapter 4 certainly delivered on that. As for the music, the score was once again composed by Tyler Bates. He wrote the music for all these movies. And the thing about the music in the John Wick movies is that, it's really good when it's an action scene and the music's hyping you up for it. That's always great. But I do wish there was more of a prominent theme, an overall theme for John Wick. And maybe there is, but I just never really picked one up. I mean, the music is really good, don't get me wrong. Tyler Bates was an excellent choice to pick for a composer for this series. I just like a good theme, what can I say? James Bond has a theme, Mission Impossible has a theme. I'm just saying. But I said this once already, and I'll say it again. John Wick Chapter 4 is fucking awesome. You go for the action, you have a blast watching the action, because it really is non-stop. Like, I gotta say, these John Wick movies, they do have some of the best action scenes, like, in modern cinema. Dead ass. The story is really good. There is emotion there. We know that because it's been carried over from the previous movies. John Wick, he had a wife, she died. He still thinks about her all the time, and he's on his quest for revenge after those who did him wrong. Simple? Yes. Entertaining as fuck? Absolutely. For John Wick Chapter 4, I will say, go see this movie right now. Rest in peace, Lance Reddick. Be seeing ya. And also, there is a post-credit scene in this movie, so stick around for that. So John Wick Chapter 4, have you seen it yet? What are your thoughts on it? And go ahead and rank the John Wick movies for me. I would rank them 2, 4, 3, 1. But whatever you think, go ahead and leave a comment. And of course, thank you for subscribing. Peace.